Oh, hello. Welcome to the Death Battle Cast.
What is this new voice you're doing?
We are. Oh, this is a new voice. This is my new voice.
Is this an announcer guy?
This is my new
podcast.
voice. This is my auditioning voice for the next big show that we make when we have a new announcer, so I can have two. Welcome to the Death Battle Cast. We are the cast and crew of Death Battle, and we got a special guest today. We'll get to him, though. We'll start with me, as usual, because I'm the most important guy, right?
Oh, Jesus.
No, I'm Ben. I'm the voice of Wiz.
Oh, I'm Sam.
I'm
Chad.
Chad.
And who are you?
Hey, I'm Billy Burson. I'm a post supervisor for Red vs. Blue and Ruby Chibi, and I'm the voice of Ringmaster on DBX.
Hello. There
Yes.
you go, coming out of the gate.
The voice of Ringmaster. If you have not watched the latest DBX, what the hell you doing? You should go check it out.
And then you were really confused by what Billy just did.
What I like to do is confuse people.
But we have a brand new character in the world of Death Battle, which it's apparently becoming a world. We have multiple characters now.
Yeah, and then we do
have
the animated series.
wait.
a whole so it's time for an animated series, right? With Wiz
Soon.
Boomstick and Ringmaster,
Yeah,
the
and
host
Jocelyn.
of DBX.
Don't
Oh, yeah,
forget
Jocelyn, of
Jocelyn,
course.
yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen Jocelyn in a little bit because we haven't had Desk of Death Battle this year. But I do not think we have seen the last of her. I would really like to bring her back.
Jocelyn?
Oh, yeah, no,
I've
I love
got-
the character, and working with Lisa's great.
I've got lots of thoughts and ideas on that, but we might get into that in some other time. Right now, I really want to focus on the new show DBX.
Oh, man, I just thought of the best idea for episode 15 that we can't do. But with Jocelyn, that would have been so good. Never mind, we'll talk about that later. That was
Great,
so
great
good.
contribution, Sam. That was
Cool.
awesome.
We can't talk about it, but that's like the perfect
Mystery.
that
I
episode's
don't
the
even know what
perfect
you're
excuse to
talking
do it.
about.
I know.
Episode 15? What?
Of DBX?
No. Of Death
Okay.
Battle. We don't know what we haven't. Yeah.
Oh,
We
for
have-
this season. I got
yeah.
it. I got it.
100 and something Death Battle episodes.
Of this
15 was
season.
like years
Yeah.
ago, man.
Of this season, I mean.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
Anyways.
DBX has been rebooted and better than ever thanks to these two guys.
Speaking of thanking things, you want to thank our sponsors?
Oh, yeah, I was getting to that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
I
was
was
trying
getting to
to.
that.
Just let him do it.
But I
Alright.
guess I'll just do it. Thank you to our sponsors for this week's episode. Quip, the toothbrush from the future, as we all know.
Yep.
And a new sponsor, I believe, Felix Gray. They do glasses. It's really cool. We'll talk more about them later on.
because I need them right now.
Yeah, you do.
My eyes are
Can you
blurry.
not? You have an ad
No,
read
I
in a
can
little
see fine.
later on.
Yeah,
and you
no,
can't
I
read.
can. No, I can see this fine. When I do this, like I'm like, okay, cool, we're good. But like, it's like anything past like arm's range starts to become blurry.
You are like our Quip, like
Well,
like
but I don't
like the
really,
guy. You are the guy.
I don't really need to read the
That's true.
quip. I just
We've-
have it there. Like this is like the
Quip has supported
and,
us
like,
for long enough that we just have it memorized by now.
Yeah, I got toothbrush passion, so I'm not worried about it. Like,
All right. Well, like I was saying, DBX has come back thanks to you and
Mm-hmm.
Billy, and of course a huge team of awesome animators, character designers, and so many more people,
And honey.
and of course Honey, yeah, who basically made the show happen. But so far, it seems to be doing pretty well in terms of responses. It's different. It's a different show, so it's going to take some people a little bit of time to kind of get used to it. It's before DBX was just kind of like when it first came about, it was because we were just starting to directly connect with a bunch of different animators, specifically 2D sprite animators, and I wanted to give them not just a way to contribute before they could join in the Death Battle team, but also a place to kind of experiment and learn and help, because a lot of these sprite animators that we were working with were still kind of new to the animation style. This was years and years ago. But now a lot of them have grown into careers and they're amazing animators, and we wanted to keep that kind of show around, but kind of build it into something that is like has its own identity, essentially. And it literally has an identity with Billy as Ringmaster. You want to talk a little bit about that? We'll get more into DBX in a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of intro it a bit.
about Ringmaster or
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah. So Ringmaster, like we just wanted a character that could kind of like bring hype, much like Wiz and Boomstick do, and like we didn't want to research a character because that's not what DBX is about, but we did want to have the opportunity to tell people who a character is, especially like, I mean, the first episode isn't the strongest example because it's like Gohan and Superboy, and if you don't know who those people are but you're watching this, like I feel like you might have just lost yourself on YouTube. But like for future episodes, there are definitely characters that you wouldn't see in like a Death Battle or anything that is like for a lot of the audience, like, and even for me being like a hard nerd steeped in this shit, I'm like, who dat again? Like, and like, so it's good to have like intros into the characters. And so obviously to do that, you need a character there to say who's who, and that's where Ringmaster came in.
Especially since DBX is so good at bringing in those characters that have like a niche audience that maybe a lot of
for
people
sure.
haven't really heard about.
I mean,
so
the next episode, in fact, Trombone.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people who were like, "Who is this?"
like
Maybe-
Diva's like a current trending character, but Trombone from Mega Man Legends ages ago. Who the heck is this? Oh, I think I saw her in Marvel vs. Capcom once. That kind of character. So
Yeah.
for trombone though. That's great.
we had a long debate
I don't
about
actually
that.
remember if it's trombone or trombone. I've always
It's
called it
Tron-
trombone.
Always
Bond.
Trombone.
It was
Trombone.
up until
Music
Marvel
thing.
Capcom 3, I think, when
Yeah.
they said her name as Trombone, which
Yeah.
I was like, "What the heck are you talking about?"
Because
But-
we wrote it
Interesting.
as Tron Bond because we were all like, it's Tron Bond. And then, like, we found out you're actually supposed to say it Trombone.
Like
And
it's the
so-
music thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instruments. Stuff
Tron,
like that.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Right.
Yeah,
that kind
all of them. And it makes sense. In
It
the
does.
Mega
Oh,
Man world.
wow.
Yeah. But it should be Tron Bond.
It
like,
should,
there's
'cause
no
it
fucking
rhymes.
doubt. Yeah, I know. But nope, trombone.
That's how the spelling I think would be said.
That
but
just blew my mind.
either way.
Yeah.
That's actually the DBX that's coming up next, and you can vote for it because that's one of the new big things with DBX. You can vote for who you think should win. So go to our Twitter @Death Battle, and you can vote there. But speaking of Death Battle, we'll get more into DBX later on. Let's talk a little bit about this upcoming Death Battle episode. We have released some previews so far for Aang versus Edward Elric. Avatar versus Full Metal Alchemist. Easily one of the highest requested matchups we've ever seen for the longest time. I cannot tell you how long it's
Yeah,
been.
it's really
Like
like
since
that.
the first year of Death Battle, this has been something that has been requested a lot. So much so that it was originally planned for last year's season, which, if you might recall, was supposed to be, or was basically the season of long-term matchups. We were like, we have to get to some of these that people have requested for a long time. Spyro versus Crash kind of deal. Jotaro versus Kenshiro, those long-term requested matchups that maybe didn't have necessarily the highest amount of requests, but were just requested forever. So of course people were invested in
sure.
them and really wanted them to happen. And this was one of them. But it ended up being pushed back because I wanted to make sure we could make a kick-ass animation. And there's a lot of hand-drawn
Yeah, I was about to say.
elements in bending and alchemy and things like that.
When we had Luis on the other day, I was just like, "So how many hand-drawn elements are you doing for this fight?" And he just goes, "I don't want to talk about it." Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Ed transforming everything around him, Aang pulling water and fire and all this crazy shit. Like, it gets nuts. Get ready for an exciting animation. And actually, I think we have a little bit of a tease for you guys. A short little bit from the animation to show you guys. Unfortunately, it doesn't have sound design. We're literally meeting with the sound design team after
You
I
this.
feel like
guys-
they're
y'all know
used to
the
this by
drill.
now.
Like,
They
y'all
know
know
that
the
this is
drill.
happening.
Well, if you haven't seen it before, this is going to have music, I believe, but not necessarily all the sound effects. But if we were able to delay this show a little bit, maybe we would have had the first sound pass from sound design because I'm meeting with them literally after this show. But anyway, here's what we've got.
Sorry, Momo. You're just too little.
Little? Who are you calling a pipsqueak, you stupid hairless kid?
Nobody?
I'll show you!
But I want to see more.
So do I. No, the battle is awesome, and we got some kick-ass voice actors for it as well. Emily Fajardo as Aang, who I got the casting from Sound Cadence for that from, and Marissa was like, "This is your Aang. Don't even try to argue with me. She is perfect for him," and she was perfect. And then Alejandro Saab, who we've worked with before.
Oh, yeah.
He's playing Edward, and he was. the Red Power Ranger, Jason in Power Rangers versus Voltron, and Hercule Satan way back when.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he's a really cool dude. Kagi Films on YouTube. You should check him out. And of course, our animation team has been killing it so far this year.
Yep.
And this is just another one where Luis and Zach and their team have just pulled out all the stops to create like a really action-packed and generally clever battle. Genevieve also wrote this, and she really wanted to emphasize not just how many different things they could do with their powers, but also how creative they were with it. And especially Ed in how much of a strategist he is and how clever he is.
Yep.
And that may or may not play into who wins the battle. We'll
see.
find out. That comes out next week, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're doing the
Next
preview.
week.
It's coming out next week.
22nd, and then the 21st, 4th on YouTube.
If you have watched this show, you guys know I have no real good concept of time. So but anyway, we're very excited to share this episode with you guys. And I hope you guys are looking forward to it too. I see people in the chat are excited. So thank you guys. But anyway,
I feel like we should go to like Vegas and set up like a legal gambling thing for Death Battle.
whoa,
He
that's
said,
taking a jump.
Legal,
Right.
Not illegal.
How would this?
Legal.
I don't know. I
Well,
know.
no,
I know that it's
legal.
not
Can't.
legal if we promote it now. But I'm just saying,
Well-
if there was an avenue, oh, you're right. We would we could
Yeah.
we could really exploit that. I
Yeah,
guess.
no, they wouldn't. Like, there's zero chance. Like it's not like there's a live algorithm running to see who will win or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just literally like we know who, like one will win,
Right.
and we know which one.
Well, I
so
just
they
think it's
can't
like
do that. Like,
I was about to say like, so place your bets now, and I was like, oh, I can't do that, and then I was like, but wait a minute, don't worry about it. My moment's a weird place. We could have exploited it, but otherwise, I just think it'd be cool. All right, shut up.
yeah, no, I'm all for gambling. Like,
Sorry, this comes because somebody
Bowling.
said something the other day. Oh, I remember. It's because I got super lucky. I don't know if you guys saw my tweet. So we were at the water park with me and my family, and then I was getting all, we're getting all the stuff loaded in and getting the kids loaded up, and I put my phone on top of my roof of the car. And so then I'm driving out of the parking lot, and then I'm hitting the access road, and I'm accelerating to about 50 miles per hour, and I hear thump, thump, thump. And then I look in my rearview mirror, and there's this black object just bouncing off the road, spiraling. And that's when it all clicked that I left my phone on top of the roof of the car. So I just like slam the brakes and pull over, hit the emergency lights, jump out of the car, and then I'm in flip-flops. So I realize I can't run fast. So I kick them off, and I'm sprinting because I see like a wave of cars coming towards like where
Yeah,
my
yeah.
phone is. I'm like, I gotta get there beforehand. So I grab it, get off to the side of the road, and I'm like, surely my phone is just like totally fucked and broken. It's fine. There is not a scratch on it. It's just a little dirty as I see it in the reflection. Dude, like the case saved it. Look at this. There's chunks. It hit every single corner and somehow didn't even get a scratch on the screen.
Yeah.
I feel like this is not the first time
Well,
this story's happened
this
with
happened.
you.
No, this happened to me. When
it
we
was
were,
you. It was you.
We were,
Okay.
but so we noticed what happened, and then like we turned around and then parked. Right as we saw, I was like, "Ooh, that's my phone!" And then a semi truck went, grug, 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 grug. And then another one right behind it was like, grug, 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 grug. And then I just picked up my phone, and it was like the most shattered thing anyone's ever seen. It was literally like the screen was like thousands of pieces. Like
Oh, it was annihilated.
like I tipped it over, and just like little glass sparkles fell off of it.
no.
Like it was fucked. Yeah.
but I was just blown away.
Yeah. No.
And
That's
like,
dope.
man, April and I were talking too about we need to be better with our spending so we can save and like all this stuff. And we'd like just been having that conversation. And so like, as this just thump, 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 I'm like, and I
But
pull over and we both just have this moment of like,
That's a
dude,
couple
shit,
$100.
that's like, yeah, that's expensive.
Well, that Pixel 3a seems like it's like $300-$400, something like that. Seems really
Really?
strong. Yeah,
Oh,
seems
nice.
like a great option.
But yeah, it survived. And so Tom tweeted at me, Tom Harvey, and he was just like, go play your numbers. And then I was like, fuck, I haven't been to Vegas in a while. Man, I want to go to Vegas. So that's
Oh,
probably-
so that's.
See, I tied it all back
Well,
around.
actually, when it happened to my phone, we just
We were-
left to Shreveport.
That's right.
To go gamble.
Yeah, we were on our way to
it was
Shreveport.
a really ominous point where you're like, oh, it's time to go gamble, and then it was like, ooh, bad luck. Like, we literally like pulled out the parking lot. Bad luck.
yeah, Sam started out down a phone.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, it was rough. It was pretty rough, but
Did any of us win that weekend? I don't think so.
well, I think Austin,
Austin
did
did.
well. Austin
Austin
always
did
does well. I did poor. I knew I had done poor because I woke up after staying the night in my hotel room, and
Yeah,
they were like, "We've comped your room," and I was like, "Oh." Like, you've already have my card on file, but okay.
But
Yeah.
That
if
only
you have a
meant, like,
horrible
yeah.
case of bad luck, Austin should be around because he will get the exact opposite.
Yeah, Austin always just does well at the casino.
That's
I feel
true.
like
He
I mean, he's
does.
pretty smart, so
yeah,
he makes it work. Well, anyway,
Let's go gambling.
I would love.
Forget the rest of this. Let's go gambling. But
Okay.
again, also, April
We'll leave
just
it.
was talking about like don't do spending, and I'm like, ooh, but I really want to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Like,
just like, look at what happened to my phone. Clearly,
Yeah.
I'm super lucky right now.
right? Exactly. And
This
it's like
is
I
the
can.
time
I know
I'm
we're
gonna win
saving
big.
money, but what
I
if we
can
make
us
money?
Yes, exactly. except for if you've never
Don't have that mindset.
if you've never been to Vegas, basically, or just going gambling in general, the rule of thumb is set aside your gambling money with an amount that you are comfortable just setting on fire and it being gone, and expect that money to be gone.
Expect it to be
right.
I just think it's like, okay, like pretty much every time I go, it's like I only go gambling for like a night because I'm not in Vegas or Shreveport more than like a day anyways, and it's like I have $200, and that's pretty much as expensive as like an expensive night out drinking,
That's true.
and it's about the same because if you lose all of it, you still probably got trashed on free drinks.
Yeah, dude. Especially when you go to
yeah,
Paris.
that's true.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Like, you're just like, oh, there was $200 of drinks. Not that bad. You know, the hangover's not worth it, but still, whatever. And then sometimes you get trashed and you wake up and you have more money and you're like, nice.
Dude, there is no greater feeling than like counting and you're like, oh, I'm like either even or up after a night, and then like you're just like going around and you just like reach into your pocket and you're just like, oh, black chip. You're like,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I'm up.
Yeah.
And
Or
then
you
you
wake
just
up
go,
and you're only like down $1.50 and you don't remember the last 3 hours. You're like, nice.
good job,
Like,
drunk me.
Yeah.
You made the right decisions.
Yeah.
Maybe I wouldn't recommend blacking out while you're gambling.
Just
a
more of a
heads
brown
up.
out, to be fair.
Man, do you see
just
the
don't
grins on
remember a
Sam and
lot.
I's face right now? We're both thinking about gambling.
I know. Don't do that, kids.
Unless you're Nick Kramer. If you're Nick Kramer, never gamble. The guy's the
like never at all.
He has the worst fucking luck. The first trip we ever went to Vegas with Nick, he never received chips.
That's right.
It was insane. I felt so bad for him, even to the point like I took him to roulette, which I know is like the worst odds in the house, but like I usually do well in roulette, and you can at least like
Roulette's
you
the
can,
worst.
You
I
can
hate
play
roulette.
for a really long time usually
Yeah.
and get drinks, and like I've never seen a session where we played for as long as we did, and he never hit once. Never once, just every time into the hole.
Should have taken him to craps. That's where it's at.
Dude, here's the thing.
Yeah, it's the most dangerous place to go.
Sam and I have a love and hate relationship with craps.
Oh, of course.
And that's because like craps is the most amount of money I've ever won gambling. It's also the fastest I've lost all of my money.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely. Like,
I think everybody's got that same story.
30
Explain
minutes,
it.
and it's like, oh, well, there's all my money gone. Bye. I'm going to go to the room and, like, watch Forrest Gump or something.
Yep.
All right. Well, anyway, we got
yeah,
really
yeah,
off
we
track.
gotta-
I
We can
know.
talk a little bit more about it in sudden death or post show.
I will.
Right now, we got to get to DBX, but before that,
Well,
Sam, tell us about
Talk
the
about
space
traveling.
toothbrush.
Let me tell you what's a nice
What do you take
utensil
to
have when you
Vegas
travel. Oh, well,
to
my
brush your
Quip
teeth?
toothbrush. Let me tell you, not only does it have, just wonderful things like sensitive sonic vibrations, a built-in 2-minute timer, which lets you know that, no, you're not brushing your teeth long enough. You might think you are, but get a Quip and you'll realize you're not. But one of the most important things, the most useful things, is it has a cover. It doesn't sound like much, but it is everything.
It's great.
So you've gone somewhere that isn't your home where you need to bring a toothbrush before. It is like usually this whole thing where you're like, okay, I got to pack it in a bag with this thing, and then you put it in here with this, and then you're on a plane, and then somehow your deodorant gets on your toothbrush, and it's disgusting, and that's like maybe you'll have fresh breath, but that's gross. Like that doesn't happen when you own a Quip. Let me tell you, you just put the cover on it, and then you throw it in your bag, and you're like, we're good. This is done. We don't have to think about that entire mess. And so, assuming it's summer now, you're going to go on a summer trip. You should probably buy a Quip so you can just take your toothbrush wherever you're summer tripping to, because that makes it a Quip trip.
Right.
And that's the best thing you can have. The best kind of trip you can possibly have.
Plus,
You gotta
that
you gotta
ca-
keep those mouth stones healthy, even on the go. Have a Quip trip.
trying to create a new tagline for them.
We'll see. At RTX, so many people are like, I bought a Quip because of your ad reads.
I know.
And I was like, it's good, right? They're like, it's really good. I was like, I know. It's easy to do an ad read when you really enjoy a product. So, let's just get to the thing that I have to read to you. Quip starts at just $25. And if you go to getquip.com/cast right now, you can get your first refill pack for free. Oh, that reminds me. Did we mention that refill packs just show up at your house and you replace the toothbrush head, and then you also have a toothbrush head to clean the gunk off the toothbrush? It's perfect. It's beautiful.
Yep.
It's a great system. Anyways, getquip.com/cast. That is getquip.com/cast. I believe I'm supposed to say getquip.com/cast.
It's that thing right there.
Getquip.com/cast. Yeah. And you get your first refill pack for free. So do that.
Like,
We'll
it's
all be
legitimately
mad.
good. I think a lot of us, like, I have one on my,
I've got
stuck
one.
on
Yeah,
my
we all
mirror.
have one now.
Yeah. Like-
The sticky, we've talked about this enough. The sticky's done by wizards.
Yeah, well, the cover that he's talking about then flips and becomes its holder, and so you just like literally take it out of your bag, flip it, stick it with sorcery to the,
And
to the mirror,
that's
and then
another
just
thing,
slide it. You don't
which-
have to leave it on the counter and be
Yeah,
gross.
because if you go to a motel counter,
Right.
don't leave your toothbrush on the counter. Think about all the ass that's been on that counter. Do you want your toothbrush touching all that ass?
And on that note, let's
Get a
talk
Quip, stick it
about
to the mirror.
what's
So
going on.
sanitary.
All right, we've got some fan art to check out, which is awesome. Let's go ahead and bring up the art from Tyscope 3.
I know you're really trying for that new tagline, so maybe that should be it.
It's a Quip trip.
Well, that's not Tyscopes, but it's Gauntlet?
Gauntlet.
Oh, it's spelled wrong on my list. Sorry. Red Gauntlet
that's really
with a
cool.
Mechagodzilla Dragon Sword, which is awesome.
Billy,
Yeah, I
you do
love
art.
The
You
hard
approve?
blacks
I
and stuff.
love it. That's great.
Really cool.
Wait, why are we showing Mechagodzilla Dragon Sword? We haven't announced a Mechagodzilla Dragon Sword in a public space.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, we did.
people.
We kind of announced it
Well,
that
that
we're
was-
doing it later on this year at RTX.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, that's surprise. We're doing that episode later this year.
Yep.
And then we also have art for the episode that we are doing right now, from Tyscope 3. Aang versus
this one's
Ed.
really
Oh,
good.
wow.
This is
Super
dope.
cool.
Yep.
This is dope. Also, Aang is buff as fuck.
Yeah, dude, he's ripped.
But he does get pretty ripped by the end of the series, so
Yeah.
that's totally fair. It's pretty awesome.
You know what I most appreciate? He did the fingers really well, and that's really fucking hard to
Yes.
do.
Yes. Any artist will tell
Arguably
you.
the hardest thing to do.
God, I hated it. when I
Like,
was,
body proportions and fingers are incredibly difficult
Yep.
to do. I have no idea how to do fingers.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I used to draw a lot in high school. I just drew like a lot of anime things, right? And goddamn, like the hands are the worst part. But I remember I was so proud. There was like this Cowboy Bebop one, and it's Spike just like putting like the gun up to basically the lens or whatever. And I remember it was the first time I like fucking nailed the hands, and I still to this day remember that moment. Anyway, great job.
All right. So let's dive.
I do it.
Let's dive into the DBX talk. So we've talked a little bit about Ringmaster and voting, but again, the general idea behind the new DBX is that we are leaving the victor up to you guys, right? Like, you can
Yes,
vote
that is
on
what
the
we're
winner.
doing.
And yeah, just for everybody
So-
to be familiar with both characters, you know,
So-
or even if you know the characters, a little refresher, just to have a sense. So you're like, because we got a lot of that people really enjoy that from Death Battle, that they get to know a lot about the characters. And so,
Yeah.
well, we want the show to not be about research and more be about cool animations and having fun. Like, it was great to be able to then just at least be like, hey, here's some general things to know about what they can do.
But speaking of getting to know characters, let's get to know Billy over here.
You're so proud of that one.
Yes, I am proud of my transition. Hey!
Way to
So Billy, what's up? What did you say that you do that you've been doing with Rooster Teeth for the past couple years?
I'm a lighting compositing artist.
How long have you
that's,
been with Rooster Teeth?
3 years now. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
came
lighting,
in
compositing.
Yep. I came in for Ruby 4, I believe, and then I kind of transitioned over to Ruby Chibi and Red versus Blue, where I started doing some of like the overseeing the other members of the team, stuff like that. So
And for anyone who's not familiar with lighting and compositing and 3D animation, you want to give just a quick little explanation?
I like to say it's the part that adds the kind of like the emotion to the scene. Like when we get it, it's just very flatly lit. There's not a whole lot going on. The animation stuff's done, but yeah, we add kind of like the spookiness or the happiness of the scene and stuff.
Spookiness
yeah.
of the happiness.
Yeah, that's what I do.
tone.
Spooky and happy.
lighting and that stuff always has like, it's weird because it has the largest effect that you, like, especially working in like this industry now. I never thought about how, like, when you see something like, especially a video on YouTube or like any kind of like, oh, somebody did a short film and it like looks kind of like shit, it's probably because it's really poorly lit. Like, lighting makes such a huge difference in everything, and you don't notice it unless you know what you're looking for, and then when you see good lighting, you're like, oh, that's nice. Like, it just looks great.
I will never forget when we were doing Godzilla versus Gamera. We almost worked with a third party. It was this dude who had reached out and be like, hey, I do like lighting and compositing and VFX. And we were like, oh, like maybe. And we're like talking about it, and he's like, let me do like a little test for you. And he did a test on, it was like Godzilla walking up through the city, and it was like the first time we had like really gone like ham with like, it was like we ended up not being able to work with him because he was too busy. But I just remember,
Right. Was that the same guy who made the Godzilla model though?
it might have been.
I think it was.
It might have
That was
been,
a
but I
while
just remember
ago.
he's like, let me do this test to show you like what the difference is. And we were both like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
it was incredible.
Well, he also had a lot of credits to his name. Like,
Oh, yeah,
he was
definitely.
very skilled in it, so he could make it look really dope. But it took forever.
Yes, yeah, it
Like,
takes-
you have
he
the
was
time.
running off of his own rig and stuff. Like, it's a tedious process. I mean, a lot of this kind of stuff. You know, you can think about like the different aspects of making a project like Ruby or whatnot, and you think like, oh, action scenes, flipping around, fun voice actors. But then when you really dig into it, it's like, oh, animation, choreography, the motion capture, the keyframing, the lighting, the sound design. Like, there's so many pieces to it, and also every single one of those pieces is tedious. That is probably the toughest part of everybody's job here. Is just like, you set a goal, but that goal is not going to happen today.
Right.
You're going to be working on that goal, that one thing, for like days,
Right.
maybe weeks.
And,
Yeah, I wish people like we had like a metric to explain it, because like probably for every second of a show, there's dozens and dozens of man hours in literally every second
Yeah.
of a show. Like, so
Pull this
it's
little
a
closer.
slow,
That's all good.
it's a slow process to create this kind of stuff. It's not just like, and then I'll make them do a flip and then a kick, and it's like, no, we're not
That just
at that
happens,
speed. Yeah,
right?
we're not
You
at
just
that
push
speed.
the flip button, and then he flips.
Well, with mocap, Torian can just do a backflip.
Oh,
right?
sure. Yeah. Torian is the most athletic person we know, of course. But anyway, so you've been with Rooster Teeth for 3 years. What, I guess, is a question for both of you guys. So how did this happen?
I walked around the office. I was like, "Show me your voice," and then that
no!
no, we sent out a casting call. And Billy auditioned, and he did a very, very good job. And so he said, "Hey, you want to come do a read for a script?" And it was very good. And we were like, "Cool."
I took one look at his
Like that.
costume and I said I want a part of that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you made your own costume
You
because
have
you
the
liked
wig
it so
over
much.
there, right? Yeah.
Oh, you have the wig?
brought the wig.
Yeah.
It just
'cause-
looks like a head in a bag right now.
Oh my God.
not the weirdest thing on set. Yeah, but. So
Oh,
you
that's
made
great.
a wig because this was for the
I love that
panel
you
at
have a
the
cup
Death
to-
Battle
Gotta hold
panel.
up that.
it's not going to stay up on its own.
Yeah, at the Death Battle panel, you had how much spray like
That is a
hairspray?
lot of it's a lot of what got to be that the big yellow can that
Yeah,
they sell.
yeah,
you
yeah,
spray
yeah.
that and it's not coming out.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just great because we were like, all right, so yeah, the panel we're gonna announce, DBX and that Billy's voicing Ringmaster, and then like say what's up backstage, and then Ben's just like, did you bring the outfit? And I'm like, outfit, and then he just got this whole like get up. It was great.
Yeah.
So okay, Ringmaster, new character, new look, interesting look. Where did that come from?
I mean, a lot of it was the classic like ringside announcer whose name I can't remember. The Let's Get
Michael
Ready to
Buffer.
Rumble. Yes, thank you. And Ruby Rod from The Fifth Element, which I think was mainly Sean's contribution
Yeah.
because he's just a crazy fan of The Fifth Element. So
Does he have like a poster of it, like right next to his
He
chest or
has
something like that?
he has actual film.
Oh, that's what it
supplies.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so it was like pretty much those two slammed together, thrown in the Death Battle world equals Ringmaster. And so, yeah, it was just like that was most of the influence. And then we just kind of wrote them and toyed with the character from there until you have what we have now. And like, I mean, what we have now, just much like Wiz and Boomstick, the character is going to continue to evolve and
Yeah.
continue to change. But it's going to be Billy. yelling into a
For now.
microphone.
Screaming.
You know, yeah.
God, I'm so scared now.
But that's pretty much how we came up with the character, and so far it seems well received. It's been fun.
Yeah.
I was
It's
happy to see
weird.
people were digging him for the most part.
Yeah, it's a fun process. Like conjure up a character, be like, we need a new character in this world, and like you kind of have these guidelines that you play inside and these inspirations, and then you just kind of like
Yeah.
make a character.
Early on when we were talking about doing this, we were like, oh, well, should it have 2 hosts? Then it was like, oh, that'll feel too much like Death Battle. We don't want it to just be like a clone of Death Battle. So we're like, so it should probably just have 1 host. And it'd be like, so to keep that going then, since they don't have somebody to play off of, it's great to have somebody who's really hype and like really over the top. We talked about, that classic.
It's a presentation.
Right, exactly.
It's more of a presentation than Wiz and Boomstick are. They do a presentation, but it's almost like a discussion.
Right.
It's like I've often compared it to like you go to a class at school or something like that, and you have 2 professors, and they each have a different method of teaching, and they each think that their method is the best way to teach. Like that's kind of how Wiz and Boomstick play off of each other and talk to the audience. Whereas Ringmaster is literally a master of the ring. Like just talking directly to the audience who has a part in the entire fight by voting who wins. Like essentially the audience is the second part of the presentation, the second host, if you will, because they have control over who wins. So it is the same, but also different. But of course, even with the new character, the main focus is obviously the characters who are fighting. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Very similar to Death Battle. Wiz and Boomstick are there. They're talking about the characters. They're there to explain the characters and things that you maybe didn't know about the characters. But at the end of the day, it's all about those characters, representing those characters, exploring those characters, and then seeing who wins in a fight and who gets horribly massacred. And the same can be said for DBX. Like,
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, the main difference, like you said, you get a vote. You can vote now on Divatronmon, and every week you'll be able to vote on the next Trombone. This is gonna be impossible. And every week you'll be able to vote on the next fight, et cetera, et cetera. But still, like, I mean, for us is like, especially for the animators, because if you didn't know, each episode also has an alternate ending, which you can see on Rooster Teeth if you're first member. So the animators get to animate both, because a large part of it too is like letting the animators, like you were saying earlier, like have fun, do a thing, make something cool. And they're allowed to do that both ways. So it's like a lot of so far, most of them have really, really cool endings for like both of them. And it's not just a simple like, oh, the final punch, this guy, or this person wins. It's like, no, they actually change up how it happens usually. And it's like seeing that, like seeing the animators toy with both sides of who gets to win is really fun. Because like a lot of characters have interesting ways to kill people, but you don't get to see it happen a lot of times. Like one of the examples I wanted to give is doing Jotaro Kenshiro, that death battle. It was like I had a great idea for how Jotaro would win and like kill him, but it's like the research wasn't there. So it's like that was just like left on the chopping board for the obvious reasons of Kenshiro won that fight very, very soundly. So it's like, but that gives you the ability. It's like, oh no, we just get to do both and they'll be sweet. So it's really fun for the animators and everyone involved.
Plus, since we knew we were gonna vote on it, there would be no way. That was a big part. We wanted the audience to be able to vote, but there's no way we could have animated in time for the vote to get it up. Or also, it would be we'd have to do voting way ahead of time for that, and so
that
it
would
was
just kill the hype,
right? And so it's just so it's kind of the best of both worlds, because we were like, oh well, we'll just animate both, we'll make them both cool, and then they can vote. We'll put that one on the main episode, and then the alternate we'll show to people who are first members on Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, and I had I thought some of them. Well, I thought out of all the fights, Gohan versus Superman would be the most one-sided vote, and it was only 7% off, which was crazy. I thought that was gonna be. So I'm excited to see a lot of the ones later in the season where it's in my head I'm like, oh, that character will probably win a vote. And then I'm sure I'll have a few upsets, but it was just I can't believe that was 7%. that I assumed would be way more one-sided on Gohan's side than that. So it'd be fun seeing how the votes go throughout the season.
Yeah, and I know that is a criticism that we've certainly seen is that some people will think that because it's community voted, that means the most popular character is going to win, right? Not all the time, and we've seen evidence that that's not necessarily true through the community death battle that we do here. We will have lots of surprising wins here. Sometimes the one that's more popular does win. Sometimes the one that isn't wins through the vote because it just gets enough of you guys behind that character, and that's really what it comes down to. Like it's up to you guys. So we'll see how the show goes. I'm really excited for it. I think you guys have put together a really awesome show, a really awesome character, and just a really awesome format.
It's been super fun.
That's yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we have. I believe we've announced this. It's a 10-episode season essentially.
Yeah, for sure.
And it is on a weekly basis. So every Saturday for the next 9 weeks, there's gonna be a DBX. And after each Saturday, or after each DBX airs that Saturday, there will be a new poll for the upcoming episode that you can vote on. So you'll be voting on these episodes for the next 9 weeks from now. So if you have not voted for Tron Bonne versus Diva, please do so. We want to see who you guys think is going to win. Also, the fight is dope. This was animated by Dave, one of our 3D animators.
Somebody asked, like, will any of the DBXs ever be 3D? And I'm like, this next one. Like, dude, literally the second one is 3D. Yeah,
we've had this fight forever.
Like a year and a half.
Yeah, like Dave did this way back, and it's super cool. And yeah, I'm really excited that it's finally
this
gonna
was
get to
actually
see
he
live day.
sent this in as a DBX as like an audition essentially, and then we gave him a job. Like it's of that quality. It's to get you a
great.
job quality, I guess. Like it's pretty good. It's really fun too. I really like one of the endings is like really. It's just like it's pretty much. I don't want to spoil it, but like it just. Like steals like a scene from the Avengers pretty much, and it's like a fight, like it's a bit of the fight choreography, and it's like really fucking good. And I'm like, that's great. That's a great way to end the fight.
Well, that's actually a good point to bring up. Like DBX hasn't been, on our YouTube channel or on Rooster Teeth for like half a year now,
yeah.
or
like
a year.
8 months.
It's been a while.
I think it's 8 months.
But we've been working on it this whole time.
Yep.
So like these animations have been made over the course of this time because we have to, we're obviously not going to have our animators put together animation in a week.
Right.
Like all these animations are pretty much done at this point.
Yeah, who would do that? That'd be crazy, Ben.
Yeah, I think
Early Death Battle.
Yeah,
I think
early
there's
Death
only
Battle when I had to put together an animation in a week. Check out
I
those
think there's
shitty
only 2 that
animations
aren't
from season 1.
but we have, and it's fun because we get to bring characters in we haven't had in Death Battle, even from franchises. One franchise we have, Fate Stay is one of the fights. Like is a character from Fate Stay, which we've never had even anyone from that franchise in one of the fights. And so it'll be cool to see how people react to that kind of stuff. To be like, oh wait, I know that character. That's from the anime I watched.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah,
My favorite of the silly ones.
For sure.
Yeah.
But also, is there a good way for them to for the viewers to request future DBXs right now?
I mean, you can use the same request form you use for Death Battle because that's the one we're going through and looking at and pulling from. We're starting to plan next season. We have some real bangers from there, like especially because there's so many requests that like sound like awesome fights, but then when you look at it on like a Death Battle term, it's like, okay, well that's not going to be very entertaining because it's like that character is just so powerful. And stuff like there's a lot where it's like, hey, how about you have this like kind of like a John Wick character versus this actual superhero, and you're like, that's cool, I see, that sounds sweet as shit, but also that's a human and that's a superhuman. Like, I can already tell you where this is gonna go, but DBX gives you the opportunity to be like, nah, fuck it, let's play with that and have as much fun with the animation as we can, and just do it because we're not gonna look at it.
And every now and then we'll still do those fights in Death Battle just because they're so requested. But we try not to.
The moment you introduce the research, it cuts out your ability to budget.
The one I always think back to is Thor versus Raiden. Like
that's probably the farthest we've ever gotten to having just a completely one-sided fight. Like everybody will look at certain fights and be like, that's totally one-sided, but like that's up to interpretation for a lot of fights. Thor versus Raiden is probably not up to interpretation at all.
I would kind of argue Smokey McGruff is pretty bad.
No, that's true.
But that was supposed to be like silly as hell. Like
I suppose.
Smokey,
Yeah, that was a gag fight.
Yeah. Like Smokey just had
so much
stupid
fun.
or comic or cartoon gags. Which,
Although
gave him
going into it, we thought it might not be so one-sided because he can stop time, and then it turns out Smokey could too. So never mind.
Yeah.
But we didn't know that going into it. We had never seen that commercial of him stopping the car or whatever it was.
I can still
Well, he
picture.
rewinds it too,
I just still-
but that's like more like
He, like,
it's,
affects it,
there's
yeah.
I can still picture it being in the old office when I was on the desk next to you, and we were talking about the fight, and I was just like searching through stuff, and I found that thing where Smokey grew like the size of the
years
planet.
before
This
we
is
did.
years, like way back.
We
but-
played Smokey versus McGruff for like half a decade,
but
dude.
I was just like, Ben, look at this shit.
Like in that first Screw Attack office. Like that's how long we wanted to do that fight for. Man, I don't actually know. I lost my train of thought. But
Anyway, DBX
DBX.
is back. I hope you enjoy it. Please watch, go vote, and let us know who you want to see using the suggestion form. It's in the description of every video.
And if you really want to see it well, make sure to put your glasses on so you can see extra good. Segue!
Oh, thanks, Sam. Into Felix Gray, brand new sponsor for Death Battle Cast. Felix Gray, they produce glasses, but not like reading
Which I
glasses per
need.
se. It's for protecting your eyes against screens. Did you know that the average American is looking at bright screens for 11 hours every day? That's a lot. That's like half the day, basically.
I feel like I'm on the upper echelon of that. Like, I feel like I might be passing 11 hours a day, too. So I
Most of us
definitely
probably
could,
are.
Yeah, I could definitely use a pair of these bad
Yeah,
boys.
so now we've all heard the rumors, like, looking at a TV screen is going to melt your brain and whatnot. That's not necessarily true, but it can damage your eyes, whether it's through excessive dryness, because it's weird, but it actually does dry out your eyes by looking at a screen for a long time, or just straining the eyes. So it can damage the eyes over long periods of time, or just hurt them on that day. And you don't want that. You don't want to be staring at a screen for so long that your eyes start to hurt. That's not good.
I think literally all of us have had a gaming session that's long
yeah.
enough to have felt that exact fatigue.
Exactly.
Like,
Or when you get super intense, and then you realize, how long has it been since I blinked? And
yeah.
You're just like,
oh,
ow.
man.
Exactly.
Back Halo 2 days, it was like, yeah.
But Felix Gray can protect your eyes. Felix Gray filters 90% of high-energy blue light and eliminates 99% of glare from your screens. And unlike other light filter glasses, they actually use a proprietary blue light tech embedded into the lens. A lot of these kinds of glasses will just use a filter kind of thing, like a cheap coating over the lens that can get scratched off and just be damaged very easily. You just rub it against the table and it's damaged. But these are actually baked into the lens, so that's not going to happen to them. And they got a ton of different handcrafted, high-quality frames and colors to choose from all sorts of sizes for kids and adults. And looking at them myself, like I'm really liking the Carver frames. They got this cool midnight blue color that you can choose from. That's like this kind of like fading color. It's like a dark blue to like a gray blue, and that's dope. It's like
You're
my favorite
all about
colors. Yes. But and of course you can get both non-prescription glasses just right off their store, easy enough, or you can get prescription glasses. So if you want to use them for reading as well, like Sam here reading off his phone,
do need my
you can get those
glasses.
from Felix Gray too. So don't go another day looking at screens without the help of some Felix Grays. Go to felixgrayglasses.com/battlecast for free shipping and 30 days of risk-free returns or exchanges. That's felixgrayglasses.com/battlecast. felixgrayglasses.com/battlecast.
Battlecast.
Not Battlecat. Battlecast.
/battlecast. Protect your eyes today with Felix Gray.
Oh, it rhymes. That's great.
That does rhyme.
Nice.
Nice.
That's cute.
Good job.
Good slogan, Felix.
Thank you,
Gray.
Felix Gray. All right.
I'm going to go pick some up. I really need to.
They're
I
actually
just
really
know
nice
that
ones.
they
Way
did
too
the
much.
prescription too, which
Yeah.
is like, because I've always wanted to get a pair, but it's like, what am I going to take my glasses off so I can put on but
need
now
to
that
do
I can
that.
get some prescription ones, that's a good idea. I'm gonna look into those.
They're pretty nice. They're really nice looking. All right. It's time for the community death battle. All right, so this one's going to be a little weird
Well-
just for this week. Because essentially what's happening is with DBX going on for the next 9 weeks, we are kind of combining the community death battle and DBX itself. You can kind of think of it as DBX is sort of like a starting ground for the DBX episode. Maybe if you don't really know much about the character, this is a good way to kind of hear about what we're doing with the character or what the character is capable of, based on answers or arguments from you guys.
Plus, it'd be really confusing and weird if we were doing like the community
Two
death
votes?
battle vote and then the other one, and yeah.
Too many votes.
Yeah, we don't want to start confusing people, and some people might not. Some, like a lot of people who've been watching the show for a while, would totally understand that we have two different shows. But if somebody just jumps into this show and is like,
Yeah, for sure.
we start talking about a community death battle, and they're like, wait, is that the DBX? And they're looking at the DBX vote, and they're like, that's not the vote that I wanted to do. Where is it? We're just going to combine them for now, but again, this is only for the next 9 weeks as the DBX season continues. So we've got some answers for
Diva and Trombone.
we do not.
No, I thought it'd be Gohan Superboy because that's usually how we do community death battle is we talk about what like.
Didn't we do that last week?
We did do that last week. I thought we were gonna do Trombone, but I guess we're not. So we're doing Gohan
Well,
versus
because people
Superboy.
didn't get an answer, right? Nobody, all the people that tweeted, like we wouldn't have.
Oh, sure. Well, okay. Here's how we'll do this week then.
Do a little. Both.
This one is actually up. The answer is up right now. You can go see the DBX. But if you haven't seen it yet, here's the some of the arguments for both the characters. So let's go ahead and bring up the argument for Gohan. This is from ZeroX Nova. And ZeroX Nova says, I feel like Gohan wins this one for one simple reason. Both these characters are hybrids. Both include alien and human DNA. However, Gohan's humanity is what makes him a stronger Saiyan, whereas Superboy's human DNA seems to be why he's weaker than Superman.
I mean,
So,
I like that argument.
I do too.
Yeah, like, I
Maybe.
mean, I don't know how much water it holds, but I
like it
feel like it
feeds.
has a level of like, it's slightly poetic.
yeah.
But I don't know if because like just because Gohan's humanity makes him a better Saiyan doesn't mean that better Saiyan is still stronger than half a Superman. But yeah, I like where you went.
All right. Let's see the other one.
and then we got an answer for Superboy from Noodles Chick.
Noodles
Noodles says, Superboy wins. His tactile telekinesis is used to replicate Soup's powers. He also carries around patches that give him his full Kryptonian powers. He also held his own against Superman and Supergirl. Isn't the patches thing just the New 52 one, though?
I think
I actually
so.
don't remember. But he does have powers equivalent to Superman, regardless of what version you're looking at, essentially. So, and he does have extra powers, like the telekinesis thing, which is freaking weird.
Yeah.
But yeah. So those are the arguments that we've seen for Gohan versus Superboy, and of course, you can go check out who won. Basically, think of the typical community death battle. We normally would bring up the results to the poll here.
But
Well, we
you can
got
watch
a
it.
poll. It's technically a whole video. So you can go check that out to see who wins between Gohan and Superboy. And again, make sure to do the vote for Tron Bon versus Diva. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of Death Battle Cast. Billy, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
This is
Appreciate
awesome.
it.
We are so excited to see what happens with Ringmaster, with DBX, and the rest of,
We got 9
How is
more
Wiz and
badass-
how are
More
Wiz
of
and
these things
Boomstick?
coming.
How are Wiz and Boomstick gonna react when they finally meet Ringmaster? Do
We'll
they know
see.
who he is?
Maybe.
We'll find out. I'm sure. I'd love to get these three characters together in a room and see what happens.
Yeah.
So we got plans. We got plans. I mean,
Yeah, sure we do.
kind of.
We have a general outline. We'll see you guys
General
next week.
ideas. You can vote at our Twitter at Death Battle. Make sure to check that out. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.